Hello, welcome to a festive edition of Vinyl Show and Tell. Hope everyone's doing alright. Thank you as always for tuning in. It's been a few weeks. Hope everyone's getting into the Christmas spirit. I thought I'd make the effort. I'd do it in front of the lovely tree here. I can't take credit for this tree. My wife did this, so before you congratulate me on how good it is, I can't take any credit of it. I've even worn a hat there. So, I thought I'd do a bit of a roundup video as it's towards the end of the year. I'll start off by showing you a few recent purchases that I got, just a few ones that I haven't shown as yet, and then I want to talk about my favourite purchases of the year. Now I know most people in the VC are rounding their videos up with the best purchases from 2023. Unfortunately, I didn't buy a single album release this year. I think if you follow my videos, you know that I'm a bit old school. I tend to focus on albums from 1971 and 1982 and things like that, although there are a few more contemporary releases. If you see me kneeling, giving attention, it's because I've got my Cockapoo Rollo wandering around here, so if you see me distracted, you'll know what's going on here. Anyway, right, records, that's what you're here for. So let's kick off with a few purchases that have come in over the last month or so that you haven't seen it yet. So, first up, we have got, I think most people know this one, debut album by Jethro Tull. It's called This Was. People must know this one. This is an upgrade issue. I mean, I had a much later pressing, but I wanted an early issue on Ireland, UK. This is not an absolute first pressing. The nerd in me wanted a second pressing on that black block variant label, which you don't see very much. I love that label design, I really do. And this is a lovely copy. I got a nice deal on this on Discogs. It was pretty good. So listening back to this, it's just amazing sort of how bluesy they were. I mean, the kind of folky prog signature sound of Jethro Tull was, it was already creeping in, but half of this is really sort of pure blues. I can see why the original guitarist left. It's definitely a band finding their feet and pulling in two different directions. So yeah, that's when Ian Anderson took the reins and became the Jethro Tull that everybody loves. So yeah, that was a nice one. That was a very nice start. Okay, right, this one. Now I only got this yesterday. I haven't played it yet. I can't say too much about the music. This one is by Harold McNair. The album is called The Fence. It's from, I think this is from 1971, my classic year of 1971. So just to give a bit of background, Harold McNair, he was a session musician, mainly played the flute. I think he guested on quite a lot of famous musicians back in the day. I'm sure he played with Donovan quite a lot. But he did release a few of his albums, and this one has been listed as a jazz rock fusion record, very lengthy tunes. Side 2, there are just two 12-minute tracks, Scarborough Fair, the traditional, and Here, There and Everywhere, Lennon and McCartney from Revolver. I wonder what that's going to sound like. But unusually, this is an original issue on B&C. It's not mega rare, it's not worth a fortune, but it's a beautiful copy. What's interesting about this is here. This here is a little pink paper pocket. Now originally all copies of this came with a pink balloon, like a long pink balloon. I don't know what it was supposed to resemble. And even the inside of the gatefold have some random pictures of various people with said pink balloon. Hardly any of these balloons survive. I have seen on PopPsych, which is the eBay auction results site, if you've got the balloons still intact and still present, these go for hundreds, but I'm not willing to sort of, triple the value of this with just a balloon. I did want the pink pocket still attached, which a lot of these are now gone. But yeah, it's a bit unusual, isn't it? I mean, I don't think you get that nowadays, would you? I mean, you just sort of wonder what the thinking is behind it. But yeah, very interesting all the same. Great session musicians on this one. Rick Gretsch from Family and Blind Faith, Keith Tippett on piano, Terry Cox, Danny Thompson. God, it's going to be good if Danny Thompson's on the upright bass. So yeah, I look forward to playing this one. Something quite interesting. Okay, this is more up to date. This is the second album by Temples, which I know I've talked about before. This is a couple of years old. I can't remember. Has it got 2017? So it's actually 6 years old. In my head, that is really recent. As I say, I haven't played this yet, but I'm very, very keen on this band at the moment. I went to see them live back, I think it was September, October time, and they were fantastic. Saw them in Brighton. Nice tangerine wax there. Musically, they sound like a bit of post-punk, neo-psychedelia, a little bit of glam going on in there as well. They are great. I recommend them. Active band. They are touring. If you can get to see them, if they're coming, you know, they're UK based. I think they may tour overseas as well. But they do tour around the UK quite a bit. And there they are. I think if they hadn't been called Temples, I would name them the Noel Fielding Band. It just looks like a load of Noel Fielding clones, doesn't it? Wonderful stuff. Look forward to spinning that. That was quite a bargain. It wasn't brand new, it was used, but it's clearly only been played once. It was out the shrink wrap, which is fine by me, because every record is bought to play. Oh, this was a good purchase. Once again, afraid I haven't got round to playing this one yet, but I have to show you. Now this one was released last year, 2022. It's by Midlake. It's called For the Sake of Bethel Woods. Now I believe I've talked about Midlake quite recently because I bought a much earlier album of theirs called Trials of Van Occupantha, which is absolutely fantastic. It's like a sort of great folktronica record. I think it's from about 2006. And it's now regarded as quite a classic album. I mean, it is, you know, it's fairly contemporary, but it is knocking on now, and it's got quite a good reputation. So I thought I'd get another one, and this is their most recent. What's interesting about this, I was looking for it, and I found a seller on eBay, which I don't use that often. I don't use eBay that much. But this seller, I put a watch on it, and they wanted just £10 for it. Now, the minute I put a watch on, the price went up to 12. Now, this seller is a bit, you know, not just like a sort of little private seller. They were quite a sort of big, what I'd call a warehouse seller. They sell all sorts of things. You know, vinyl, CDs and other media and various items. And as time went on, the price just kept going up, down, up, down, up, down. Until one day, I had a quick look on my eBay watches, and they'd reduced the cost to just over £7, and that included the postage and packaging. So I was like, right, buy it. Seriously, it's like doing the stock exchange, isn't it? I mean, £10 or £12 was cheap enough, but I was determined to get it even lower, and I did it. And initially, the album got lost in the post, but then they sent me another one, and they honoured the £7. So I can't quite believe that I've bought a brand new album, because this was in the shrink wrap, with postage and packaging for just over £7. I mean, people complain about the price of new vinyl these days, but it just goes to show the bargains are out there, and this is an up-to-date record, you know, it's only a year old. So at some point I'll hopefully report back what that's actually like. Oh, here's a good one, another proggy record from the early 70s. This one is by Warm Dust, called Peace for Our Time. Now I got this one, again it was off Discogs, it was listed as VG Plus on the cover, near mint on the record, and I tell you what, they graded it spot on. The vinyl looks unplayed, and this cover, I can't actually believe how good condition this came in. It really, really blew me away how good it was. Yeah, very pleased with this. I spun this yesterday. It's kind of like a sort of jazzy prog affair. It's got a kind of a wartime narrative going on between the tracks. Mostly instrumental, but there were some vocals. Kind of reminded me of like a kind of proggy film soundtrack. I liked it. I'll be spinning it again, definitely. Warm Dust. This is their second record. Their first one was a double. And It Came to Pass is their first album, that's the one. And I find that one a little bit on the patchy side for a double album. It has its moments, but it's a bit too long, to be honest with you. But yeah, this is alright, nothing wrong with this. I paid £35 for this. Now, on Discogs, I know you shouldn't just go for the mean and the mediums there, but it is a kind of indicator. It does seem like the going rate for this record, you know, 30 to £50 is very, very fair. I saw this about 2 months ago in a record shop I was in, and they wanted 95 quid for it. £95. I couldn't believe it. I'm not going to tell you what shop it is. I'm not going to badmouth them, but I didn't buy anything from there. Everything was so overpriced. But I just couldn't believe the asking price for this in that shop, because as soon as I saw it, I pulled it out. I was like, great. And then as soon as I saw the price, I wouldn't even entertain it. So there we go, £35 for an absolutely pristine copy of an album that's just over half a century old. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. And the final recent purchase, this is a nice rare one, and I got a good deal on this one. Yeah, another prog. And it's 1971 again, I think, this one, or is it 1970? One of the two. This is a one and done. It's Brainchild, Healing of the Lunatic Owl. Look at that cover. I mean, how did they come up with how did they come up with these ideas? It's just so odd, isn't it? It's so avant-garde. Matches the music beautifully. This is another jazzy prog affair. It's a little bit more in your face than Warm Dust. It's got some great songs, great arrangements. This is an upgrade copy. I've had a sort of kind of real knackered out, worn copy for years, and it didn't get played an awful lot, so it just doesn't sound good. But this is, despite the fact there's a little bit of background noise on it, this is actually a really tidy copy. It's on the brown A&M label, and again, I got it for a very, very fair price, to be fair. I made an offer to the seller on Discogs, and they accepted, and it's turned up, and I'm very, very pleased with that. That's a keeper copy, definitely, and highly recommended. I think it is a bit on the pricey side. It's not silly expensive, but it's out on CD and it's been reissued on vinyl as well. So if you're into your prog, this is a really good one to get a hold of. Brainchild, one of those many one and dones from that era. Okay, right, that's it for the purchases. So now I'm going to just show you my favourite albums that I listened to this year. Just to reiterate again, these are not albums from 2023. These are albums that I bought in 2023 that blew me away. These are the absolute, these are the pick of the bunch. So yeah, I think looking through, yes, I have shown them before, but I think when I've talked about them, I've only touched on them. So here we go. So brilliant record bought this year. Oh, this is amazing. This is self-titled by Plan 9. It's a UK only release. I don't think they're a US neo-psychedelia sort of garagey band, but the emphasis is definitely more on the psychedelia. They're from the 80s, they're not a 60s or 70s band. This is absolutely fantastic. From memory, I know I showed this on an earlier video, and I think I'd only played it once, and already I was kind of raving about it then, but I've played it a lot more since then, and it's just absolutely wonderful. The songs on it, it's got a real kind of slight Americana feel, but they embrace the psychedelia so much. They've got like the Farfisa, is that how you pronounce it? Farfisa organ going on the background, giving it a slight Doors sound, Doors-ish feel. There are some extended cuts on this, and the songwriting is just absolutely great. And when I bought this, I thought this was their only album, but they've done quite a few. They have done quite a few. Unfortunately, none of them were released here, so finding them in the wild might be a bit tricky. They are there on Discogs, and I think I might have to take the plunge in the new year. I'm tracking those down. But yeah, this is a UK release, and looking at the track listing and dates, it looks like it's a bit of a kind of, it's like a kind of compilation of leftovers. All the tracks are recorded at different years over the early 80s, but it's all exclusive material. It's on New Rose Records, And as I say, it is absolutely fantastic. There are copies on Discogs going pretty cheap, and you might find it in the wild. It's, yeah, I can't recommend it enough. Self-titled, Plan 9. If you get the opportunity, please pick it up. It's absolutely wonderful. Next up, we got Temples again. This is the one that I have played. Their third album, Hot Motion. I've already described what they're like, and that's what you got here. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. So glad. I'm glad I got to see them, because when I went to see them, I'd kind of streamed a couple of tracks just to sort of, you know, just to have a listen and make sure they were my cup of tea, and they definitely were. But yeah, as soon as I went to see them live, I decided to get an album by them, and this, yeah, got a good deal on this one from Rough Trade. And it's absolutely wonderful. It really is. It's they just get they get the neo psychedelia sound spot on. Really, really good stuff. Really good indeed. Okay, this one blew me away, and it's a band I've talked about and shown a good few times since starting this channel. But this is the best album of theirs I've heard so far. Killing Joke from 1986, Brighter Than a Thousand Suns. Oh, this is fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. They've just got the balance right on this one between their real brash, industrial, you know, harshness with the kind of just slight sheen of the mid-80s. But it's not... you know, they haven't kind of sold out or anything or gone too polished. It's still a really bombastic sounding record, and it's not one of their most popular from what I read online. I think people do like it, but it's not regarded as up there. But to me, this is the best one I've ever heard. It's absolutely wonderful. It's just got an enormous sound to it. The tracks are great, and they just, you know, sometimes you just can't explain why you like it so much, can you? You just do. It just absolutely grips you. That's the great thing about music, isn't it? It just, you know, everybody likes different things, and this one absolutely blew my mind. After a few listens, I was absolutely hooked. It's not too difficult to come by, it's not too expensive, it's about a £15 record. So Killing Joke in general are an absolutely amazing band, and this one in particular I can't recommend enough. If you find their early works a little bit too hard going, this one is just a little bit more on the melodic side, a little bit more sort of pop friendly, but it's still, you know, it's still Killing Joke through and through. They haven't lost any of their kind of credibility or their unique sound. So, and the final one to show you. Now I am cheating here a bit. I bought this in late 2022, but I didn't listen to it until this year. I bought it in, and I have shown it on a previous video. I bought it in Petersfield. I did a video on record shopping in Petersfield, and I picked this up, and it's not a blind buy as such, because I knew the record existed, but it wasn't an artist or record that I was planning to get. And I'm going to hold it up, and you're all going to go, "Oh, what that? You know, this is a classic record, isn't it?" To a lot of people of the genre, there's, you know, Isaac Hayes' Hot Buttered Soul. This is not something obscure that everyone's like, "Ooh, what's that?" It's a classic. I'd heard of it for years, but never picked it up. So the story goes, I'm in Petersfield. I've been to the record shop, and there was a bookshop closing down, having a half price sale, and they had records in there, and they wanted just £5, you know, £5 for this. We got the unfortunate sticker tear there, but there we go. I can always replace it if a better one turns up, but the record itself, which is a UK second pressing on Stax, is absolutely near mint. What can I say about this? As I say, I just picked this up on a whim. I'd heard of it, I knew it was a good deal. I looked at the track list and I'm like, oh, lengthy tracks, yeah, that'll do. We'll give that a try. I know of Isaac Hayes, don't know much about him, but yeah, mind blowing, mind absolutely blown. It's unlike a lot of stuff that I listen to, this the sweeping orchestrations on it, it's just like psychedelic soul of the highest order. It just, these genres just fuse together. The man's got obviously an incredible voice, and the way he's just rearranged and extended these tracks, you know, Walk On By, the opening track, Walk On By, is absolutely fantastic. It just builds and builds and builds into this unbelievable sort of psychedelic crescendo. Yeah, I ripped this onto digital and put it on my iPod, and I listened to this on holiday this year. We went to Taormina in Sicily, and it was kind of like the album of the holiday. It really was, listening to it in the sunshine. Absolutely beautiful record, it really is. He's got a 19-minute version of By the Time I Get to Phoenix. I mean, if you haven't heard that, it's got this sort of monologue that's about 7 to 8 minutes, and then the kind of drum beat just kicks in and the tune just starts up, and then again it just builds and builds and builds until by the end of the record it's just this beautiful kind of sweeping orchestra. Yeah, mind absolutely blown. It's an absolute stone cold classic, and I'm sure most of you are like, yeah, it is, I've been listening to it for 20 years. But there we are. That's the great thing about this hobby, and in a lot of ways, yeah, better late than never. I'll need to pick up more Isaac Hayes. I haven't come across any more, haven't seen any in the wild. Discogs and eBay are absolutely swamped with them. It's cheap, you know, it's £10 or less for a record, but I'd just rather find this stuff in the wild. But I haven't seen any. It's strange. I haven't seen a single, unless I'm looking in the wrong. I'm probably looking in the wrong sections for it. But yeah, 2024. There are several other titles of his that I really want to get hold of. But whether it'll be as good as this, I don't know. But yeah, wonderful. Isaac Hayes, Hot Battered Soul. What can I say? If you haven't got it, for God's sake, get yourself a copy. It's cheap and easy to find on any pressing. UK original, I imagine US originals are, you know, they're out there, plentiful, as well as the European ones. So there we go. Right, okay, that's the lot. So yeah, just wanted to catch up, do something a bit festive. What is there more to say? Yeah, I hope, as I say, I hope everyone's doing well. I have to say the channel recently has grown. I've had so many new subscribers, and for that, if you've subscribed, I am so grateful for you. The last 2 videos I did based at the London Record Fair and the Rise Above Records in London, which if you haven't seen that video, please check it out. It's a marvellous shop, absolutely just amazing stuff. But on the back of it, I gained so many new subscribers, and I am so grateful. So grateful. So thank you so much for supporting the channel this year. I don't know what more I can say except have a lovely Christmas, whatever you're celebrating, whatever you're doing, have a good one. I hope Santa brings you something nice. If you've been good this year, make sure you be good. It's all about the best behaviour. But I'm hoping Santa brings you a nice slab of black vinyl on the 25th of December. So anyway, I don't know if this will be my last video of the year. Sometimes someone puts a thread up towards the end of the year, don't they? There might be a sort of another roundup video. But anyway, that will be the last one before Christmas. So yeah, again, have a lovely Christmas, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care, and I'll see you all very soon.